you guys can see me. My hair's new. I got new hair. What y'all think? It hasn't exactly settled in yet. Every time I do this color, it's always the first couple days, it's like, whoa, that's red. And then it, I wash it a couple of times and it settles into the color I actually want. So, I got the critter with me today. Say hi, critter. Sika. Sika. What you sniffing at? She's not paying attention to this. So, there's the goats. Say hi, goats. It is so beautiful out here. And some kind of dark stuff has been going on with me in the last few days. I don't think I'm going to go into it quite yet, but let's just say I've experienced some loss in the last few days, and the one thing that seems to help me stay grounded and centered to, know what it is that I'm doing and where I'm going is really taking my walks out here. And even when I'm having a really bad pain day and I can't go very far or as far as I want to go, the beauty of this place is enough to really lift me up and make me feel better. So, but it's just so beautiful here. So, now, on to the topic of today's video, which is getting ready, if you want to getting ready for either applying to or having, qualifying for gastric bypass surgery. So, why don't we just start from the beginning, which was when I decided that I'd finally had enough. Come on, Sitka, you don't have to sniff at everything. When I had finally decided that I had had enough and was really ready to make a change, I first off looked to see whether or not my insurance covered gastric bypass surgery to begin with, which is the first thing you gotta do. You can either call your rep, or maybe if you have like an online resource for your insurance, check that out to begin with. That is if you're in the United States. If you're in a country where you have national health insurance, great. Go talk to your doctor and be done with it. Or at least, get the process started, because I'm fairly certain there's at least some process in, other countries that do this. But if you're in the United States, first off, check and see if your insurance covers this procedure. And then when you have discovered, the answer, then talk to Sitka. Come on. Talk to your doctor about when the next seminar, because there's usually a seminar, is going to be taking place. So I talked to my doctor, and he had all the information, and he sent me to a seminar that was at this hotel that was in my town. I'm from Modesto, California originally, and that was at the Doubletree Hotel downtown. So you go to the seminar, and at that seminar there were 3 doctors who were available to get the procedure done from. The guy speaking, I immediately did not want him to do my surgery. His last name was Coates, and he was the Coates elder. It was him and his son, who are the 2 Coates, Dr. Coates, who performed this surgery in Modesto, California, and I think the surrounding towns. And then there was Dr. Corin. And Dr. Corin was the guy that I picked. And I specifically put it down on my flyer. I want Dr. Corin, simply because I did not want the elder of the Dr. Coateses. Because he was such a jerk. When I asked a question, his answer was so condescending and so patronizing, and just he talked to me the way that a lot of men talk to fat women, which was your question is incredibly stupid, and you are not worth my time, and go and sit down, you ridiculous little woman. Yeah, if you know me, that's not a good way to talk to me. No, it's really not. Yeah, you can ask my husband. So I instantly decided I did not want him as my doctor. So I scheduled an appointment with Dr. Corin, went in, had my initial exam and my initial weigh-in, and that was 3 weeks after my first seminar thing. And the major issue that I had to begin with, I'm especially would like to talk to the people who are in this situation, where first off, I had thought I was 5'3". I'm not, I'm 5'2". So when I checked my BMI, I was at a 39. And for a lot of insurances and doctors, a BMI of 40 is the minimum BMI that you can be to get this surgery. And so, because I had thought I was 5'3", my BMI came out as a 39, when in fact I was actually a 40. And so in the 3 weeks between my seminar and my first appointment with the doctor, purposefully had to gain 12 pounds in order to qualify, or at least I thought, because I thought I was 5'3", so I thought my BMI was a 39, in order to qualify to have gastric bypass surgery. Because when you are right on the cusp of being qualified for gastric bypass surgery, you kind of tend to despair a little bit because there have been so many people telling you, oh, we'll just lose it on your own. Well, being 1 point lower on the BMI scale from needing gastric bypass surgery does not negate your need for it. It's just that insurance needed me to be at that specific BMI. And when I found out later that I was already at that BMI because I just had my height wrong, I was so mad because I ate crap during that 3 weeks that I didn't eat even when I was fat normally. Like fast food. I was not a fast food junkie at all. I hated burgers. I still hate burgers. Except for, weirdly enough, vegan Beyond Burgers. Those are so good. And I hate burgers, and those are good. Anyway, I digress. So I had to eat Jack in the Box and McDonald's and Burger King, and I was so sick for that 3 weeks because I had to gain that weight so quickly. And then I would talk to my friends, and they're like, oh, well, this is like a blessing, and you have to, you have a license to eat whatever you want, and blah. And I'm like, if I could live on Milanos and Oreos and, other stuff that I really enjoyed, like, because for me, the stuff that put on the pounds for me was sweets. But you can't live on that, and so I had to eat high-calorie foods for the rest of it. And I'm a chef, and I'm a little snobby when it comes to food, and I really like good food. So I'm really not a fast food kind of person. So I lived on essentially McDonald's and Jack in the Box and Burger King and Taco Bell. That is some fast food I do enjoy is Taco Bell, but I don't have it out here in Germany anyway. So I lived on that for 3 weeks, and I became really sick. I did not feel well. I did not. Okay. Zika, come on. I just wasn't doing well, and I kind of was starting to get just constant indigestion and just feeling really horrendous. Between, that time, because in order to gain that amount of weight in that short a period of time, I had to eat 6,000 calories a day. And I just didn't feel very well at all. Now, if you are in that boat, you may have to do that. But it is so worth it. It's so, so worth it. Having that surgery changed every aspect of my life. And I would do it again and again and again. So, that's the first step. Second step is the initial weigh-in. And then your doctor is very likely going to put you on a diet. Now, if you happen to be much, much heavier than I was, where you are at a 42, 43, 44 BMI, Zika, come on, then, it's likely that your doctor will probably put you on a diet to where you're going to be losing a great deal of weight at one time. And it can vary. I know in the UK, they do something called a milk diet, where it's literally like Slim Fast, where you're supposed to drink, I think it's like 2 liters of milk a day, or something along those lines, and then you get some kind of protein powder or something to put in it, and that's supposed to shrink your liver. When they're going to be doing the surgery, they need to get at your liver, and so that diet specifically is supposed to reduce your visceral fat by like a lot. It's like, come on, she just wants to sniff everything in sight. So once they do that, and then you're on that diet, I had to maintain within like a couple of pounds, like 1 or 2 pounds. I had to stay at that weight for 3 months between the time that I saw my initial doctor's visit and my actual surgery date. So my first surgery date was my initial consultation was in June. And then I got my surgery date in September. And in September, they gave me my surgery date, which was October 18th of 2016. So, I maintained my weight. I kept my doctor's appointments. Thankfully, maintaining that weight is so much easier than having to gain it really super quick. So I did that, and then my surgery date came. They, did my surgery, and then you wake up and you have to be on clear liquids for the first 24 to 48 hours, at least. And then I think opaque liquids, where you can have your protein shakes and stuff, starts 72 hours out, and you maintain that for the first 3 weeks, 4 weeks, somewhere around there. Now, liquids can also be like pureed soups and stuff. So that's, nice. So it's not just, you're not just living on protein shakes. Although, frankly, if you get the Roux and Y, you don't care what you eat. You have zero appetite. None. I had to force myself to eat. I had to force myself to make sure that I took in the proper amount of liquids and the proper amount of protein and everything like that, because I didn't care about food at all. None. And my weight dropped instantaneously. I lost 7 pounds in the hospital. While I was in the hospital, I lost 7 pounds. I was in the hospital 2 days. That's it. And I lost 7 pounds. Now, mind you, that is most definitely water weight. It's not even a question. It is water weight. But I digress. After I got out of the hospital, my first month, I lost 38 pounds. After the 7 pounds I lost in the hospital. So the first month I lost 38 pounds. And then after that, I was losing between 20 and 25 pounds a month for the first 4 months, somewhere around there. And then February hit. And I realized that I was doing something wrong. What's going on in there? It's weird. I heard something in the trees. But I figured out that I was doing something wrong because that was when I passed out at the mall. And the ambulance had to come and get me and take me to the hospital, and I was in the hospital for 6 days, somewhere around there. And that was when I, realized you have to keep track of your nutrition, because if you don't, then you can go into, rabbit starvation, where your protein levels are too low, like your albumin levels are really low, and you're dehydrated and it can kill you. So I learned not to do that anymore. And I also worked carbohydrates back into my diet, because the first, after you are put on solids, you cannot eat any carbohydrates or sugar or anything for the first, at least 6 months. But because I stuck to the diet a little bit too well, they said, okay, you're losing too fast. We need to put you back on some carbohydrates. So start working, rice or potatoes, starchy vegetables into your diet. And so I did, and instantly my weight loss slowed. To where I was then losing only about 10 or 12 pounds a month. But I only lost a total of 110 pounds. Well, more than that, I think. Because my highest was 236, and my lowest was 113, around there. And I've gained back 10 pounds since then. Oh no, more than that. 20 pounds, because I'm 136 right now. And so I lost all of the weight that I needed to lose, and I've been able to keep it off, and now I live here. I don't know if you can see. That is the Rhine. It is so beautiful. That is the Rhine River, and we are in the Rhine River Valley. And if you can do this, if you can figure out some way of getting this done, it will change your life completely. It is not an easy way out. Don't let anybody tell you that. It is an easier way, by far, to lose the weight. But it is absolutely worth it. More than anything in the world. You can take back your life by doing this. So that's it for me right now. And I'm gonna say bye-bye. And so is Sika. Sika, you wanna say hello? Sika, come here. You wanna say hello? Okay. Take care. That's my way.